The following content this episode is owned by Best Galaxy Australian Studios. Re-uploading episode for without permission will be strongly prohibited.
News are finally next on Best Galaxy Australian Breaking News, Saturday, 20 of May, 2023.
Good evening, welcome to Best Galaxy Australian Breaking News. My name is Galaxy Australian Guy. At the first news, BestGalaxy has released for teaser in this from BestGalaxy Season 2 from this June 16th. Here's proof. There's something from release BestGalaxy Season 2 from this June 16th.
Mga Jaggers Season 2! Abangan nyo na yan sa June 16!
Finally from release date on June 16th. At the second news, Jamal Ali Abdi has seen flooding in Beledweyne before but never on the scale witnessed earlier this month when the Shobel River burst its banks, causing devastation to the central Somali town and displacing almost the entire population. As water gushed through the streets, Ali's home was soon surrounded by murky brown flood water. "The water was up to my neck," said Ali, 36. "Our entire family, including my 6 children, sought refuge in a relative's home after our house was immersed. I was barely able to get my children to safety and grab a couple of items as we fled."
News 3. Justin Trudeau's hair has made international headlines, as have his fumbling handshakes and propensity to appear shirtless when cameras are near. Now, the Canadian Prime Minister's well-mannered legs are getting their moment in the spotlight. Ahead of the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Trudeau and a delegation of Canadian ministers were in South Korea to celebrate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries, as well as an attempt to salvage a multi-billion-dollar battery plant deal. Before giving a speech to the National Assembly, Trudeau posed for photographs with Korean politicians, including with the National Assembly Speaker, Kim Jin-pyo. Amid the clutter of camera shutters, Kim raised on his tiptoes, poking fun at the 20 centimeters, 8 inches, height gap between the two leaders. News 4. Beijing wants to subordinate and humiliate the West, according to the Republican chair of a newly created China committee in Congress who is leading a delegation of hawkish US politicians on a 2-day trip to the UK. Mike Gallagher argued that China, under President Xi Jinping, believed in the inevitable demise of capitalism and said he hoped to better understand how far British politicians of all parties shared his committee's concerns. Beijing's goal, Gallagher argued, was to render us subordinate, humiliated and irrelevant on the world stage and make the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, the dominant global power. He thanked the UK for adopting a forward posture in the Indo-Pacific after Britain deployed an aircraft carrier there 2 years ago. Okay guys, it's time to commercial break. We'll be right back.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, it's time for chicken.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, it's time for a feast. Eat a 90-piece bucket, you can tell.
He's been to Clucking Bell. The chicken is a bird with a tiny brain,
So we assume he doesn't feel any pain. We shrink their heads and we breed them fast. 6 wings, 40 breasts, and then they're gassed.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, we're psychotic crazies.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, factory farming's insane.
We denied it all before a stock price fell. Come down to Clucking Bell.
Clucking Bell! If you enjoy it, the chicken didn't die in vain.
There's a war going on in the streets. It's the war on thirst. Sprunk is winning the war on thirst with the new grenade-shaped cans. Hey yo, pull the pin and blow your thirst right off in that brand new taste explosion. Boom! Now that's the sound of refreshment. Sprunk. Go AWOL from the cola wars with an energizing mix of lemon, lime, 10 times the caffeine and sugar. Plus, mercury and benzene for that extra pop. Yo, it'll bring the temperature right up. And the bubbles. Other beverages use carbon dioxide. We use ether to kick up that phase. Thanks to all that mercury, you won't remember anything that tasted so good. Now pick up a Sprunk Thermonuclear 6-pack. Kill thirst and liven up the party. Toss your friends a Sprunk in the grenade-shaped can and enter the Sprunk sweepstakes where you can win a real case of grenades. Sprunk. Blow your thirst right off in that brand new taste explosion.
Dito na tayo sa JA, kung saan lahat ay okay. Sa JA, lahat dito ay super mura. Lahat mga maganda dito sa JA. Sa JA, napatunayan na ng bayan, wala namang iba. Quality shopping ang aming dala. Mapapa-JA talaga kayo. Ang supermarket namin ay JA.
Coming soon to the Los Santos Convention Center, it's Mike Andrews.
Poor people, stop complaining. Start living. You can't take the money with you when you die. Even I can't.
He's changed millions of lives with his book, Rags Are Riches. This all-day seminar features workshops on cooking potatoes, dumpster diving, huffing paint, bathing alternatives, and pharmaceutical baking.
Instead of complaining about being poor, lady, enjoy it.
Mike, I can't feed my kids, and the rent's due.
Whoa, bitch, settle it down. Are you saying this ain't the greatest country in the world? Wait, hold on, wait, everyone. USA, USA, USA.
Hear Mike's favorite programs, such as There's No Rich People, The Rich Are Miserable Play Harmonica, and Expect Less, Achieve More. See Mike Andrews live for only $200, payable in 10 installments. Reserve your seat today.
The train now standing at platform 5 is the 1726 Stepford Connect service to
tonight.
First we have SCR dispatching series in tomorrow from Thursday the 11th of May 2023.
The power of Best Galaxy Australian breaking news. 7. Video Andros needs to stop DSLR cameras like Canon and Nikon D70.
Best Galaxy Australian breaking news. Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. on Best Galaxy Australian 2K10 official.
All the ways to have a Whopper could unite the nation. No matter if you like impossible or double bacon, we can agree there's a Whopper for you. 200,000 ways, boom, there's the proof.
BK, have it your way.
When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side when the sun goes.
We connect you to over 40 destinations, with places that will suit everyone. From places like North Shore to Stepford USD, there's bound to be a place for you, and we'll get you there in no time. Stepford Connect. Travel with a smile.
Okay guys, we're back now. At the first Australian news, the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has met the US President, Joe Biden, on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Japan and signed an agreement to advance climate and clean energy action. Albanese is holding a round of key talks at the G7 summit as some of the world's most powerful leaders convene, with a rescheduled Quad meeting on the agenda. Albanese met with United Nations Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, on Saturday and held a bilateral meeting with Biden on the sidelines of the summit in Hiroshima. Biden apologized to Albanese for not meeting him in Sydney after the US president had to cancel his attendance at a planned Quad meeting next week that was to include the leaders of Japan and India. At the second Australian news, Anthony Albanese has held further meetings with world leaders on the sidelines of the second day of the G7 summit in Hiroshima. On Saturday, the Prime Minister met with leaders including United States President Joe Biden, with whom he announced an agreement to advance climate action, as well as United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. Biden apologized to Albanese for cancelling on the Quad meeting planned for Sydney as the two nations signed agreements on a range of issues including climate, cybersecurity, defence and child safety. New South Wales top cop says she will not watch confronting video of a 95-year-old grandmother being tasered in a nursing home, as the elderly woman's condition deteriorates in hospital. Supporters of Victorian MP Moira Deeming have walked out of a Liberal Party conference as tensions flare between members over the decision to expel her. News third, supporters of Victorian MP Moira Deeming have walked out of a Liberal Party conference as tensions flare between members over the decision to expel her. A small group clutching masks of Deeming's face and a sign labelling the Liberal leader, John Pasutto, a bully, shouted, "Shame, shame," as he took to the stage at the party's state council in Bendigo on Saturday. Pasutto was heckled and dozens of Liberal members stormed out as he kicked off the two-day event, with speculation rife that a leadership challenge is looming. Australian social media users will see more sports gambling ads after TikTok quietly expanded a controversial trial of wagering partnerships despite widespread criticism. The decision to increase ads could undermine any federal government action to restrict broadcast promotions, with researchers warning that gambling companies are one step ahead of regulators and are targeting new demographics. Late last year, TikTok was criticized by public health experts for shifting away from its anti-gambling stance. Okay guys, that's all the news. See you tomorrow at Phase 2 from Sunday and Monday. Bye bye.
you.